Good morning, sir.
Hi. Can I have a profile, please?
Yes, sir.
Mukesh.
Yes, sir.
Mukesh, can you talk about yourself?
Yes, sir.
Very
Sure.
brief, okay?
Yeah, sure, sir. Myself, Mukesh Adari. I'm basically from Andhra Pradesh, but currently staying in Hyderabad. Coming to my education background, I did my graduation BTech Mechanical in the year of 2017 in specialization of mechanical, and I'm belongs to a nuclear family. My father is a farmer, my mother is a homemaker, and I have a elder brother.
Mukesh, thanks for your introduction. Can you talk a bit about your experience?
Yeah, sir. Recently, I have 2 years experience in the company of LMT in software solutions, like a manual tester, sir.
Mhm. So you have 2 years of experience,
Yes, sir.
okay? So can you talk about your testing process a bit? How do you perform the testing from starting to closure?
Yeah, sure, sir. In our projects, mainly we are working on the banking sector applications. So we are working on using the software of V model. We are using the processor. In the V model, we can do the requirements gathering and FRS. We are doing in clearly because of the without going functionality, without going correctness of the FRS document, we can't produce the test case briefly, sir, because the complete test, sir, will be depends upon the documents of FRS, sir. So, and the preparation of the it's generally done by the senior people, and we go for that next process is designing, and we do the process.
Okay. Can you talk a bit about V model, right?
Yeah, sir.
So what are the advantages of V model
Yeah,
over waterfall? Can you
yeah,
talk a bit more about that?
yeah, sir. View model and waterfall model is you are using for the testing process, sir. But the main difference in the view model and waterfall model is in the model we say sequential parallel linear, sir. Waterfall model is, but the V model is a sequence parallel. When compared to the V model, waterfall model is the testing will be done at the last stage of the processor. So we have a lot of time waste and money waste of processor. But in the V model, we can do parallel execution of the development team with the testing, sir. And in V model, we in waterfall model, there is a drawback, sir. There is a no if one phase is completed, then we go for the another phase, sir. But V model, we didn't have that, like, sir. We do multiple procedures.
So what does V stands for there?
V stands for verification and validation, sir.
What does that mean?
Yeah, verification will be done before coding, and validation can be done after the coding, sir. Yeah, in that process, we verification we do the correctness and completeness of the document, sir. In the validation, we do the testing process and automation and sorry, black box and white box testing, sir. And in that process, we verification we do without
Sorry to cut off. So what is the main advantage of verification?
verification. We do the correctness and completeness of our requirements, sir.
What will happen with that?
Sir, without correctness and compliant documents, we can develop a project, but didn't reach the customer satisfaction, sir. They have already some particular point and their mind view, but we developed in the wrong requirements that the software didn't satisfy the user client requirements, sir.
So mean to say verification is more of prevention.
Yeah, yes, sir. Prevention also. Prevention of defects. Yeah.
Okay. What do you do in validation then?
In validation, we do the testing process, sir. And we have here two types of testing: so dynamic white box testing and black box testing, sir. White box testing under comes from the unit testing and integration testing, sir. And black box testing comes out from the system testing and UAT testing, sir.
Hmm.
In that process in validation, we do execute the code and we check that the product, sir.
So how do you validate? How do you validate the application?
Yeah, going the testing process, sir. Like after coding, we do the integration testing. It's a code level testing. It will be done on the code level, and we more focus on the structure of the code. And every module will be checked at least once, sir.
Is it integration or unit testing? Structure of the code is.
Unit testing, sir.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
After the completion of unit testing, every model will be tested in isolation, sir. And after completion of the in we have also a unit testing. We have some techniques. Using the techniques, we can simplify the process, sir. We hang statement coverage, path coverage, branch coverage, loop coverage. Using the techniques to simplify the process, sir. Yeah. After completion of unit testing, we go for the integration testing. Integration testing means more than two components are integrated for the testing. If the test is passed, we add the more components, sir, for the integration of testing.
So And what is the next step of integration?
After integration, we go for the system testing, sir. It's called system testing. It's called black box testing, sir. Because in black box testing, nothing but without going into the internal structure of the code, sir. We are just giving some inputs, waiting for the outputs, sir. In that time, we didn't focus on the what is the internal function of the code, how to run. We didn't focus it, sir.
So, have you used any techniques to do the black box
Yeah,
testing?
sure, sir. We have five techniques for black box testing. It's called as for the simplifying the process. We have simplified the process. The black box techniques are mainly ECP, BVA, decision table, state transition, and use cases, sir. Without using these techniques, and we simplify the process easily.
So, what is BVA and DCP? How it will be useful?
Yes, sir. When you have your BRD documents, BRD functional, and after BRD business requirement documents, after we do the functional requirements specification with the requirements, we can go for that black box techniques, sir. In ECP means nothing but the equivalent class of partition. The given input domain is classified as two parts like valid and invalid for the generating the test data, sir. ECP means valid and invalid, and BVA only applicable when we have a range or size of the requirements, sir. Without size and range, we didn't mention, we didn't do that BVA, sir. BVA means boundary value analysis. We more focus on the boundaries of the value, sir.
Okay. If you don't mind, can you just write an example on the whiteboard?
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah, okay, sir. Let's we talk about the ECP and BVA, sir. For example, for the ECP and BVA, we are taking a login page, sir. In login page, we have a username, password, sir, and submit also. So when we take in a login page, in username password, we have some requirements and specifications, sir. Because that username will should be some contains 8 to 15 characters, and password should be contain this range, this size, and sir. For example, we are taking that username should should be use alphabetics and start with only capital, sir.
There won't be any range here.
No, sir. We didn't use any range, sir.
You're not using any range.
Yeah. But password we use range, sir. Password 8 to 15 characters, alphabets and numerical also, sir. Plus, we didn't use any special characters like at the rate that type. So now we talk about the ECP, sir. In ECP, we have here two types, two modules. One is valid, and another one is invalid. Invalid. So there is a requirement we have. What are the requirements? Use alphabetics and always start with the capital letters. So use the alphabetics. So now we have a to Z and also a small a to Z, sir. There is no need to add any all numerical and special characters. So we have invalid in numbers and special characters also.
Why 1 to 10?
Not only for example, sir, on numerical numbers, sir.
0 is not involved. Why taken 1 to 10?
Zero also invalid, sir.
0 to
Zero to infinity. Numbers.
9.
Okay, sir.
The numbers falls under 0 to 9.
Yeah.
Good.
Now we talk about the BVA. In BVA, valid data and invalid data, sir.
Data or range?
Data is, sir. So there is first of all we use the password. There is alphabets and also small a to Z. We have a range of password is 8 to 15 characters. 8 to 15. Oh, sorry, sir. We have a range of 8 to 15 characters, sir. So we do minimum plus 1, sir, is 9, and maximum minus 1, sir, equals 14. And also here minimum minus 1, sir, equals 7, and maximum plus 1, sir, equals to 16.
Okay, I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
So when do you apply VCP and when do you apply VBA?
When we have a requirements in that page, sir, they clearly mention what they want in that position, so we are clarified that requirements and we produce to uh, give that detail, sir,
So how do you derive the test data? Using?
using black box techniques, sir. So in that valid and invalid data we can generate the test data, sir.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
How do you interact with the developers on the defects? Do you have any separate call for that?
When we find a defect in our testing the software application, we inform the defect lifecycle processor like that, sir. When we assign to the developer, but she didn't accept it, first I can clarify that the defect is severe or not, and that I'm go for the screenshot takes and up that could be submitted to the my TL, sir. And if there is developer, in case developer didn't accept my proposal for that defect, so on that time I'll do this.
So have you heard about defect triage meetings?
Yeah, sir. Defect triage meetings.
What do you do in defect triage meetings?
Defect triage meetings, we do that work for the application. Like if you how many defects are we find and what to do, and
Okay, that's fine.
yes,
Okay. So have you worked on automation as well?
yes, sir.
So which tool are you currently using?
Selenium, sir.
Okay. So what is your experience in automations? You are developed the frameworks, just you're using the existing frameworks to develop the new scripts. What is your knowledge level there?
We are just existing the framework, sir.
Existing
Yeah.
framework. Okay. So which tool are you currently using?
Selenium, sir.
Okay. And language?
Java.
So uh, how do you handle synchronization in Selenium?
Yeah, sir. Are used for the overcome the problem of synchronization, sir. Synchronization mean nothing but the if you are working an application but the application didn't load at that time, but we can show that no such element is found in that synchronization, we can use the wait, sir, wait for that problem we overcome that use itself. If you are working in a, for example, you are using some application, sir, if you are in submitted to the Selenium but Selenium didn't stop, if they work that completely before it show the exceptions, sir.
So what are the different weights have you used?
Explicit weights and implicit weights, sir, we are used. Explicit weights are also called as global weights.
Are you sure? Is it implicit or explicit?
Sorry, implicit, sir. Yeah, implicit and explicit. Implicit weights are also called as a global weights, sir. Uh, okay, implicit weights are nothing but to weight the Selenium before show the no such element is found error, sir. It's but the what is the disadvantage of disadvantage global increments is it's completely weight the web applications, sir, not only single element, it's completely weight the web applications, sir.
Then which weight is preferable there?
Explicit weights, sir, we go for explicit weights for because we particular element will be stopped, we are using explicit weights, sir.
So you have knowledge on Agile as well. Is your current project following Agile or V model?
V model, sir, but we have a little bit knowledge about the agile, sir.
So what is Agile?
Agile is a incremental process of software development methodology like V model. It's a follow the iterative and increment process, sir. It's in the independent of planning a independent project. The agile is a open source to welcome the open changing in the requirements, sir. It's always a contact between the end user, sir. BA.
So what is the advantage of Agile? Which one is you think is the best, V model or Agile?
So depends upon the project, sir. It's mainly. So we are talking about the agile. There is agile is open source for the requirement changing, sir. and at the development process will be late, but we can add the requirement changing to the project, sir.
You mean to say it depends upon the project,
Yeah,
which
yes, sir.
methodology you want to use.
Yeah,
Okay. So your knowledge on Java as well.
yeah, sir.
Can you talk about some of the hoops concepts,
Ye-
main hoops
yeah.
concept in Java?
Oops means object oriented programming, sir. It's there is a abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and encapsulation, polymorphism, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is inheritance?
Inheritance is the process of one class acquiring the properties of another class, sir. In the Java language, subclass acquires the properties of superclass, sir.
What is the main advantage of inheritance?
The code reusability of the main advantage of the inheritance process, sir. They lot of code reusability, and with the class acquires from the one class of the details to the another class, sir.
Mm. Then what is polymorphism?
Polymorph is nothing but many forms, sir.
Mm.
Polymorph is mainly method overriding and method overloading we have, sir. And that
What is overriding?
overriding is applicable only in the inheritance process, sir, because there is a only one parent and different childs.
Mm.
So that on project, if the child didn't satisfy the parent properties, sir, we can change, we can override that properties, sir.
You mean to say you can override the methods?
Methods, sir.
Okay. What is an array?
Yeah, array is a fixed size in array is a group of same data type from the single variable, sir.
Mm.
And arrays are fixed in the size. If arrays are fixed in the size,
Were you looking for a change?
right now I didn't have a automation experience, sir. But previous company I have a manual testing, only manual experience. Right now I am to learn from the some institutes automation. So I start my career as a automation tester for looking for the good career and opportunities, sir.
So, but in my project, I'll provide only manual testing.
Yes, sir.
Automation will come, but not immediately. Is it okay with you to join?
Yeah, sure, sir. Because I am good at manual testing also, sir.
But you have aspirations to do automation, right? Is it still fine?
Yeah, fine, sir.
You will not give the automation immediately. Are you still
Mm-hmm.
okay with that?
Yeah, sir. No problem about it.
That's all from my side. Lokesh, do you have any questions?
Sir, there is any variation between that projects, sir, in your current company? Like you are in your company doing routine projects, sir. You are like only some domains are you doing, or different sectors you can?
So mainly we are into banking domain.
Yeah,
Okay.
sir.
So most of our projects are into banking area.
Yeah.
Okay. We have both projects which are starting from scratch. Okay. And we have maintenance projects as well.
Yeah.
But basically this requirement is more for a maintenance project where already the software is released into production.
Yes.
So we are working on enhancement and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nothing, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nice talking to you,
Thank
Lokesh.
you, sir.